The day bison graced your village was the most important day of your life. But for me, it was Tuesday.
Welcome to the Rated G for Gamers podcast, episode 378. Before we start the show, we want to thank all of our wonderful fans who have supported us. And if you want to show support for the Rated G Network, you can find us on Patreon at patreon.com/Rated G for Gamers. You can also find us on YouTube, X, Instagram, Facebook, and Threads at Rated G for Gamers. And finally, please rate and review us on iTunes and Spotify. We appreciate all the love. I'm your host, Dave Rutino, and this is my co-host, Dan, the podcaster formerly known as Classic Robinson.
What's going on, man? It's been a while.
It has. I think we need to address that we were off for a week. Things got a little hectic with my work, to say the least.
It did.
Everything's good. Everything's gravy. Everything's golden. Train is moving. But, yeah, we took a little bit of time off, and I think it was good. Back.
Well, we got a lot that happened in the last 2 weeks.
We do.
We can't get into everything.
No.
We'll probably have to spread some of this out until next episode, too.
For anyone who's looking for that hot, spicy Unity talk, we are going to save that and save our thoughts for next week. And I know me and Dan have a lot to say on that, but there's a lot more pressing stuff to go over, so we'll go ahead and get into that.
Yeah. Here's the pressing question that should be on X right now. It should be trending. What if DMX didn't shorten his name and his name was truly Darkman X? Would DMX be the same?
Darkman X.
Well, that's what it stands for. It stands for Darkman X. So
I did not realize that was his original rapper name?
Yeah.
Wow.
Darkman X.
Oof.
So what if it was really... What if no one said, yo, you should just shorten it to DMX? And we're like, well, what's a DMX, right? Nobody knows what that is. It's just, who cares? It has X in it, so it's cool.
Right.
But what if it was just like, my name is Darkman and Darkman X? Will he still have that same potency? Would it still, like, hit you?
No. There was a movie starring Liam Neeson called Darkman, and 2 sequels not starring Liam Neeson called Darkman 2 and 3.
And you know what? There was a video game called Darkman.
Based on the movie, yeah, which is weird. It's a rated R movie, by the way, kind of gory and bloody, and
I watched it as a kid. For some reason, they rented it at Blockbuster for me, and I still watched it.
I saw it recently for the first time. It's weird. So I don't think DMX would be getting any points if he called himself Darkman or Darkman X, because that movie was it's. I don't want to say a cult classic, but it's certainly a cultish movie. Yeah, Darkman X doesn't have the same ringtone as DMX.
Because people would be abbreviating it later on, like especially right now. If he was Darkman X back then,
right,
we'd be like, oh my god, DMX, right? It was like, who? Darkman.
Darkman. Yeah, Darkman.
Yeah. Just like no one says Puff Daddy. Depending on how old you are.
No one says Puff Daddy because he changes his name every 5 years. So, and he makes the point to say, I'm Diddy now, or I'm P Diddy, or I'm Puff.
Biggie was the one that called him P Diddy, right? So he was P Diddy because of Biggie. So no one, depending on how old you are, I want to say the generation above me and you will still sort of look at him as Puff Daddy, right? Or Puff. But P Diddy came sort of later.
Listen.
And then he dropped a P and he was just Diddy. That's still P Diddy. That doesn't faze me. Is that completely changed?
Listen. I go super old school. He's always going to be Sean Combs to me. All right.
Okay. Okay, buddy.
He's SC, right, baby. Sean Combs.
All right, we have a great show for you this week. Coming up, we're going to talk about the Nintendo Fall Direct that we missed talking about last week, and we're also going to talk about the fall Sony State of Play was hit or miss for some people. And now we have to address the Xbox leak. The biggest leak maybe in history of the industry.
Sure.
But before we get into any of that stuff, let's begin the show with a happy 20th anniversary to Steam and Monster Hunter. We got some anniversaries around the same time.
Wow. Both in 2004?
3?
Maybe it was 2003. Yeah. Whenever Half-Life 2 came out, I think is when they launched it. Maybe it was 2003. I think you may be right.
So we got Steam and Monster Hunter for PS2 first came out all at the same year.
Steam and Monster Hunter. That's crazy.
Well, I'm not a big Monster Hunter fan. I mean, they just finished the Capcom Direct or showcase or whatever, however Capcom calls their showings for. They had a Tokyo Game Show. Yeah. Nothing too mind blowing. I mean, we know some things that are going to Xbox. A lot of the Like a Dragon and Yakuza games are going to Games Pass, and future games are now actually coming to Games Pass too. The next Like a Dragon, the guy who lost his name or something like that. That's coming out in November. Then we have another. We have the Yakuza game that's now turn-based, where you actually get to face a shark, which is kind of funny. That's coming out in January or February. Like, I think that's going to be. I don't think that's going to be Games Pass, but it's coming out on X. They made a point to say it's coming out on Xbox.
Okay, right? I'm pretty sure some of the other ones came to Games Pass though. Maybe they didn't work out the.
And you know what? I'm totally bugging because I am mixing up Capcom and Sega's. I watched both of them back to back. I'm mixing up.
There was
Capcom
a Sega one too. Sega's. Okay. Yeah.
Oh no, you know what it is? You know what it is? Exo Primal with the Street Fighter crossover. That's coming to Game Pass.
Okay.
That's what I was thinking.
Okay. I thought Exo Primal looked cool. And I didn't mind.
Is the only way I'm going to play it.
I didn't mind the Street Fighter crossover. Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to pay like $70 or $60 for it, but I'd play it on Games Pass for free and see how it is, and if it's really good, I'll buy it.
Yeah. Well, okay, we got, again, the anniversaries. Monster Hunter, they didn't announce a new Monster Hunter game, but they did say look forward to new Monster Hunter news in February of next year or something. So they hyped up another event, so we're probably going to get the next Monster Hunter game announced then. And speaking of Monster Hunter, I got this game. And I've also, I don't want to talk about it in games I've been playing, but I didn't realize, because they said this was a sleeper game of the year that came out earlier in the year. Wild Heart.
Oh.
Which is that, also like Immortals of Avium, like that EA, like indie, the subsidiary EA Origins, where EA sort of helps out little indie studios make games. So this is like a Monster Hunter clone. This is like Monster Hunter in Fortnite, because you could build stuff, like build structures for the monsters to get caught in and stuff like that.
I'm seeing the Koei Tecmo logo on there. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I didn't realize this was like a Monster Hunter 2.0. Monster Hunter meets Fortnite.
Okay.
But yeah, happy 20th anniversary. We both definitely Steam changed the game when it comes to PC gaming. Most of all.
That was an amazing, phenomenal turn. And I think that was one of the most crucial moments for digital gaming, right? It was not the first, but it was the first one to really be successful and take off. The first online digital storefront where people can go and look for games and buy them, download them, play them directly on your computer. It was a whole big ecosystem, right? They keep adding to it and adding to it and adding to it. Now it's like a juggernaut. I mean, there's millions, if not billions, of games that are on there that you can get. Famously, Steam has their summer sale, and I think there's another one in the winter, maybe, or the fall, which is great. They're always having discounts on games. That's something you don't get with physical media, right? Usually, a game is $50-$60, and maybe after a couple of years, it goes down to like $30 or $20, maybe, if you're lucky. So that's important, That's really kind of a big thing.
So what's a big thing is Dave spoke it into existence, and now it's true. Because I don't know if we did this on the show.
Oh yeah,
we definitely did this off mics. Well, I don't. We definitely did it. I don't know if it was. I don't know if it was on the show or off mics. I want to say a few months ago, maybe 4 or 5 months ago, we had this big blow up about Apple not caring about games. They don't care about games. When has Apple ever got into gaming? And I did mention we had, they did mention at one point their new chip, and they had the Blades game, which was very popular, which you can't even download anymore.
I remember that Blades game. It did look really cool. It was running on the iPad and all that.
And I have it on my old. I have it on my old iPad that I sold. I shouldn't have sold it. I shouldn't have sold it because I could have kept it on there. But Dave spoke it into existence. The universe heard your words, heard your prayers, heard your hate, your Apple hate, and it's spitting it out at you. As Apple had their event September 12th, and guess what? They had a segment dedicated to gaming, not any games. They had games that we play on consoles. For the new iPhone 15 Pro, will natively, and that's keywords, natively run Assassin's Creed Mirage, which is not even out yet on consoles.
It's not.
It will natively play Resident Evil Village with ray tracing, on your phone. They care about games. Apple has heard. They have a service dedicated to games, Apple Arcade, which people give it high praise, by the way. That's not something that's just like there and people say, oh, it's okay. People give it high praise. I
was going to mention Apple Arcade. I was going to mention the fact that they have talked about gaming on the stage before. They've had Crossy Roads. They had that aforementioned game. I forget the Blades game on the iPad, which looked visually awesome, even though you were just kind of like swiping on the thing to move your sword around, but it was still really cool for what it was. The Apple Arcade stuff is nice. It's a nice curated list of like mobile-centric games that have like a certain aesthetic, and they're not just like shovelware. That's like cool and all. And now they're like making a push into this, and they have tools. I think I may have mentioned on the show. If not, I know I definitely know we talked about it. They have these tools that will act as like a layer between. I think any game, it'll act as a layer and kind of like translate the game and try and make it run via this intermediate layer. So even if it's not like made for the system, you can like download it, try it out, and like put this thing around. I forget what they call it. And it like kind of works. Like they're like trying to make a push for that. So like that could open the door to like really getting gaming on the system, because they're like cherry picking, like, okay, Assassin's Creed, big AAA title, Resident Evil Village, big AAA title, and they kind of mentioned some other stuff in their previous Apple showcase that, they're kind of picking some games and whatnot. This is cool and all. I'm
the latest
excited.
A17 Pro chip. Yeah.
Sure. I'm excited that they're making a push for it. Now, couple of things. One, only available in the iPhone 15 Pro. All the other iPhones are asked out.
That chip is specifically made for gaming.
Right.
Primarily for gaming.
Right.
And it's on the Pro, which is the only phone I get. I don't get the Pro ones.
It's for the iPhone 15 Pro. Does the iPad get it?
The new, I would assume, because I didn't announce any new iPads, so I would assume once the new iPads are announced, that they will probably get that too.
It would need to have the A17 chip or whatever, the A17 Bionic Pro chip, or whatever it is in there.
Yeah.
So now, what does this mean for Mac? The desktop Mac? I know they have some stuff for it. I think maybe some of those games are available. Some of the older Resident Evils and some other like high profile games are like available to play via the Mac Game Store, or just.
You'll have my GTA on there.
There you go. Yeah. No. I mean, there's like legit new games. So there is like some stuff. My question is who the fuck? I'm just gonna say who the fuck is gonna play Resident Evil Village on their iPhone Pro? No.
The answer to your question, whoever it is, definitely needs one of those controllers, the hub controllers where you put your phone in, because
You have to have legit controls. Yes.
Trust me, I've played even Sonic. I have Sonic. I have the original Sonic game on my iPhone, and it doesn't. And this isn't an Apple thing. This is a cell phone thing in general. Doesn't matter what phone you have. It sucks using the on-screen.
I know.
On-screen controllers, right?
I know.
So you have to have the Joy-Cons to fit it in so you can play it with actual controllers.
Yes, you need to have a physical
actual
controller.
Buttons, actual D-pad, actual stick.
Any game that's a AAA game or any game that's like fairly complex is probably going to have a lot of buttons and a lot of different things you can do in the game mapped to those buttons. Playing on the touchscreen with the little on-screen overlays isn't going to cut it. No. So now, what do? You're going to bring your phone around with you with the controller, with the little like snap-on thing to the controller, so the screen's here and you can kind of like tilt it like it's, a little like gorilla arm or whatever, and then you're going to be playing on the subway? You could, but that's how you would have to play,
I would say yes, just the same way where you are carrying your carrying case with your Switch, which is something that you don't need to hold, don't need to have with you. It's not vital. But
Switch is a much better ecosystem. Yeah.
No. I'm not debating that.
Okay.
But you have a book bag where you put it in, right? Because rarely, maybe in the summertime, rarely do a person will just hold the Switch in their hand bare. They're going to have it in the case.
No, of course you're going to have a thing for it.
It would be the same concept.
Now,
have that controller hub in a case, in a bag. And the only difference is it's not a Switch. You're just putting your actual phone in there and playing the game, which, by the way, is connected not through Wi-Fi but through cellular service. So it's much easier to connect to the internet than it would be like the Switch, where you need Wi-Fi. You need to connect to Wi-Fi, which if you're on a subway, you're going to connect to Wi-Fi each particular station. It's not, on
you're right.
train.
And you have to verify the game on the thing and the whatever.
Correct.
So, all right.
You wouldn't need to do that because you have a cell phone.
Well, you would need to have cell service though, and you're still not going to have cell service in the subway. So
cell service is more widely spread than Wi-Fi.
Maybe depending on the elevation of the subway. All of that aside,
you could be stuck in a tunnel and have good cell service, but you won't have any Wi-Fi because you're
too far away from the repeaters. Yeah. So
correct.
That's not even like. I'm
not even advocating for this.
Here's the question, though. Are casual gamers? Now, casual gamers, like, maybe they have a game console at home. Maybe they have, they play Madden or Call of Duty. They have one console. Maybe they play mobile games on the go. Are they going to carry around this whole thing? Because it's nice just being able to slip your phone in your pocket.
But it's not. Well, one, I think you're asking the wrong question. It's not for hardcore gamers. Hardcore gamers don't want this.
I'm not asking about hardcore gamers.
I know.
I'm asking about casual gamers.
Well, this is for them. This is for the casual gamers. Like, I was a casual gamer at one point who bought the game, the terrible. Well, I would say terrible in the sense of I was using touch screen. Right? Like, I brought Mortal Kombat versus DC on my iPad.
Some of those things are fun. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, it was terrible. I was a casual gamer.
Well, it's not the experience that you were looking for. It's a very mobile-centric experience. Yeah,
it was just something cool to have because I know Mortal Kombat. I'm not at this point. I'm dipping my toe back into the industry. I'm not really gaming. And I was like, I know DC versus. I know Mortal Kombat, and they got Superman and Scorpion. This is great. I know all of these characters, right? So. This won't be widespread with casual gamers, but casual gamers will. This is for them.
Really?
They will try it out. Yes, they will try it out.
Why wouldn't they just get a Switch? Just get a Switch. It's so much easier.
Because they're not. There's nothing else for them to play. Some people don't want to play anything else.
$200 entry level.
Guess
$200 gets you a Switch Lite.
Guess
Otherwise, what? you have to spend $1,500. How much is an iPhone 15 Pro? At least $1,000.
Yeah. but I'm getting
At
more out
least
of
a
my
grand.
phone because this is a necessity. This is a luxury.
Whoa, wait.
Everybody's getting a phone.
A
You have to have a
phone
phone.
is a
2023,
necessity.
you gotta have a phone.
$1,000 phone is a luxury. That is the difference.
A
That is
luxury
the difference.
necessity. It's a necessity that's a luxury. You're gonna get a phone. You're gonna get the new iPhone. You're gonna.
Are you going to
spend-
get the 15 Pro, or are you going to get the 15, the regular 15, or the 15?
All I hear from people I know, even my uncle, who's an old guy who doesn't know tech, is like, I want the 15.
Everyone
Okay?
wants
Like,
it, but nobody
he's gonna get it.
can necessarily
He's gonna-
like
I'm
have an extra
transferring-
grand. It's a lot of money.
Look, that's the great thing. You don't have to spend $100. You don't have to spend $1,000.
I don't have to spend anything 'cause I don't want it.
You spend $20 a month on your new plans now. That's what they have it. $20 a month. That's all you do. You don't spend a grand.
God.
You don't spend a grand.
Yeah, and then you're in for what? Like 5 years? And you got to pay it off in
2.5
years.
years. Paying 2.5 years, and then you upgrade
So
the
what
next
happens
one.
when they don't support it and new games come out, and then you got to get the iPhone 17, and you're still on the old plan again? You know, it's hard to keep up with the Joneses
because you just move up. Like this, I didn't pay. This phone is not paid off. Okay, I've only had this phone. Well, I got this phone out of necessity because my other phone broke, as you know, and I got it for like 6 months ago.
Yeah.
I could still upgrade and just switch plans. I'm just out the money that I spent on this.
Well,
So
yeah, and you got to pay
spent
whatever
that
the
money
upgrade
to rent
fee
it.
is, and you know,
I spent
It's a lot.
the money to rent this, and I'm going to do it. And I'm
Right,
going to do
right.
it. People do it. People
Wait.
proven in the last 10 years that they've been doing it.
You're gonna get the iPhone 15 Pro and get some games on it, or no? No.
Oh no,
Yeah,
I'm a hardcore
okay,
gamer. I'm
yeah.
not playing no games on it. I'm just saying that for me. But I know people who are gonna say, especially if they put like Call of Duty, if they put Madden, if they put any of the, they'll be like, oh yeah, I can try it on my phone. Everybody's gonna play it on your phone.
You got to have a
Everybody plays it on your
consistent
phone.
connection if you want to play. If you want to play Call of Duty, I mean, I guess if you're into the single player, but I think you're talking about multiplayer head-to-head stuff. You gotta have a.
You can't do that. You can't do that on your phone. You get your ass handed to you.
Oh, so then
Like-
no, I don't think anyone's gonna be playing. I mean, the single player experience, you want to play in the big screen. I'm not gonna play in a little
I have a high
5-inch
school
screen.
friend. I have a high. See that's the thing, Dave. You keep. I think the issues with you is you keep putting yourself there.
I don't think anyone who's
This is
a
for other
Call of Duty
people.
fan is going to want to be like, I really just want to play.
I'm gonna take the Dave. I'm gonna take the Dave. I'm gonna take the Dave explanation because this is what Dave does. They wouldn't do it if people wouldn't buy it. They wouldn't, Dan. That's what you say to me. If people didn't buy it, they wouldn't do it. That's what you say to me all the time.
I don't know. Apple's had a lot of missteps. Apple's had a lot of stuff that they've canceled and things that they closed early. I mean, they make mistakes every now and again.
But here's the thing: a lot of companies make mistakes, but the way you tell it, they have 2 people who bought it.
Well,
2,000, 200,000, even 2 million people. Okay, is a lot. Is a lot. That's not what they want, though.
yeah.
That's not what they want. They want 52 million. They want an absurd number of people to buy it. They want it to make the next big thing.
I would. Not that I don't like playing. I mean, I would just go with the Switch.
Again,
And I think
not
anybody.
you.
I think anybody
Not you.
casual.
Not me.
Anybody casual would
Not you,
also
not
go with
me.
the Switch. It's a better experience.
No.
$200. $200 gets you in.
I think you keep
200,
equating
that's
Switch
it.
to the I know, but you keep equating it to the library, right? Like to the live games.
Well, I
to it,
mean,
'cause
no,
you're
I'm
looking at the
also
value.
talking about
They
the
don't-
experience.
I know, but they don't.
It's got a built-in. It's got a nice handheld experience. You got all the buttons on there.
You can't compare the price of the phone that they're going to get no matter what. They're getting this no matter what.
It's
compared to the Switch that they don't want. They don't want that because they're not gamers.
It's the price, the controller, the library. It's everything. I don't want to just. Okay, wait.
The phone. I'm waiting. Listen, the phone just came out today. Okay, and it was just Tim. They showed Tim Cook with the line of like 20,000 people outside waiting to get the phone.
Tons of
right?
people are going to be buying the Pro.
They're getting the phone. The phone is happening no matter what. The Switch is a $200. I don't know if I want this because I use it for what it's really. When I could probably get it for a couple of bucks a game.
Here's what I mean. Like
I agree with you, but I can see where other people would say, "Hey, let me play Resident Evil on my phone."
I feel you.
I know Resident Evil when I grew up, and it's cool. I could just play it on my phone. Something that I'm gonna have regardless.
I feel you to some extent. Here is I'm gonna throw down the gauntlet. I'm gonna throw down a contest. I want
statistics and numbers. Only Apple.
No. Here is the contest. I want to see, and this is like for both of us. I want us to get no. Listen. I want us to get a picture of somebody playing a game with a controller on an iPhone 15 Max. Doesn't matter where it is. Doesn't matter whatever. They just have to have the iPhone 15 Max and a little controller. I'm gonna assume probably on the subway or the whatever else. And I just
they're gonna be at the basketball court like the commercial show.
First person, get the fuck out of here! You're gonna pay $100 to see the Lakers play, and you're not gonna watch the game. Get out of here!
No, I'm talking about like on the beach. They're gonna be on the boardwalk, outside at the playground, at the courts, just like they did in the commercials.
I want to see
how many people did you see playing the Switch outside? Like how many people outside?
Not like got a rooftop in Brooklyn where they're like hanging out at a party and whatnot. Like,
those are the commercials that we see.
Although me and my friends have done that a lot. It was a little like hipstery, but I do it all the damn time. So
it is somebody listening to this show right now that's like, yes, I have my Android, probably not even an iPhone. I have my Android with the add-on, with the controller add-on, as they have halftime at the Laker game, and I'm just playing. I'm playing whatever game you're playing.
Here's the contest. I want to see how long it takes for us to spot somebody in the wild with an iPhone 15 Pro playing on a controller. First person to spot.
Well, we're gonna have to go to them and say, "Hey, let me interrupt your game. I know you're about to lose right now because you know." We gotta go. We gotta go take a look at the situation. If they have a handheld controller and they're visibly using an iPhone, then we can assume that it's an iPhone 15 Pro. And even if it's not a 15 Pro, even if they're hooking up a controller and playing it that way, I think that'll count. Even if they're not playing these top-tier AAA games, I want to see who finds the person first, and I want to see how long it takes us to find them in the wild. Because my bet is, and we are in New York City, which is a highly densely populated city, I think it's going to take us a long while. Well, this contest doesn't really work, especially for both of us.
Why?
Because we work from home. We don't even go out. If we went out every day out to the office every day, I would say that's a bet. I'm sure we can find around. Don't even go out. I barely go outside.
Every time I do go out, though, I will say this. You're right, but every time
I don't see anybody playing a Switch, but
yes,
I know they're out there.
I do. I always see someone either playing it or carrying it. Almost.
I don't see
always.
anybody. I don't see anybody playing a Switch, but I'm sure they're out there.
But you see them. You see them every now and again.
I'm sure. As a matter of fact, no, I don't. As a matter of fact,
every now and again, you definitely see them.
Never.
Come on.
I've never, unless I'm going to a convention like Long Island Retro Gaming Expo. Yeah.
Well,
so
then you're going to be among gamers. Oh, I don't know. I see it all the time. Maybe you're just tuning it out. But
I'm sure people play the Steam Deck.
Okay.
I've never seen the Steam Deck out in the wild.
Okay.
I've never seen it, but I know it's there.
Well, the Steam Deck is far less popular and also...
But it's there.
Also,
but you know it's there.
Double the price of what the Switch Lite is. There are tons more Switches in the wild than there are Steam Decks. And the Steam Deck is like triple the size of a Switch. It's different.
I know. And unless I go to the Nintendo and unless I go to the Nintendo store or Long Island Retro Gaming Expo, I've never seen someone playing a Switch out in the wild. Okay. I've never seen it.
You're gonna see someone with a Switch. You're gonna see someone with a Switch before they have a mobile gaming setup of any kind, Android or iPhone.
Yeah.
That's a guarantee. Come on.
I mean, I'm sure if I go looking for it, I would. Well, first of all, if I went looking for it, I would go to video game places to look for it.
Okay, you can go wherever you want for this.
I would go to Video Games New York. I will walk around Video Games New York.
You're not going to see people playing iPhones with their little controllers. That's the contest I want to see.
No, but my point is, I don't even see people playing the Switch, let alone a phone. I'm sure. All
right,
I'm sure
so
I'm gonna
win this. I'm gonna win this contest because Dan is being negative about all of this.
There's no contest.
Well, you're telling me
in his mind.
You're telling me that there's a market for this. I don't think there's.
There is a market. There's a market for this. Absolutely.
Then we would see people in the wild. Then we would see people with the wild.
I don't even see people playing the Switch in the wild. That's my point.
Well, I do though. I do though.
Well, I don't think
I don't. Okay.
Well,
all right.
Who's looking, Dave? Well, who is?
It's not hard to see someone with like a teal or a red or a like. They come in hot colors
because I don't see them because they're hiding. Hot colors. They're doing it in public. They're doing it in private.
They're on the subway. They're all over the place. Guys.
I've never seen.
All right, well, keep a lookout because you're going to see a Switch. You're going to see a Switch before you see a gaming iPhone setup. I guarantee it.
And you know what? I'm gonna look like a creep as I take a picture of the person on their phone because I'm like, no, can I just?
I'll even take you on your word if you feel uncomfortable taking a picture. I will go that far because I know it's going to be hard to find. Nobody's going to be doing this.
Yeah, well, you know what? I'm going to do a personal interview. I'm going to be like, hey, look, I know this is strange.
You do whatever feels comfortable, man.
Can I take a selfie with you real quick?
No,
I have this bet going on.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Hey, I'm sorry to bother you, right? You already know the end. You already know how to get in.
Please don't call the cops. Please don't shoot me. Please don't rob me.
Exactly. Listen, I know I'm a black man. It's okay.
You know what? I know I have a Giants hat on. They suck. But
let's not get into that.
I'll blur your face out. I just want to show you that you're on the phone.
I just don't having a bet with a friend. We wouldn't see it. Yeah, exactly. That's all it is. I am very curious to see.
Last thing I'll say is
okay.
Right when you told me we had this thing that nobody was playing Pokemon Go anymore, I almost hit somebody in it. I almost hit somebody in the street at night because they were in the street trying to catch a Pokemon on Pokemon Go.
Yep.
And right, and I was just like, "What are you doing?" And he's, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm trying to catch a Pokemon." And I was like, I wasn't thinking, but I should have said, "Can I take a video of you real quick?" We had just talked about it like maybe 2 weeks prior, and you're like, "Nobody's playing Pokemon Go anymore." And I almost hit this person in Brooklyn.
Okay. You found the one person still trying to get those gym badges.
Well, you know what? That proves my point because you said nobody. You didn't say one.
I was being hyperbolic. One is insignificant. One isn't going to keep that game. Isn't going to keep that game afloat.
One would win me the bet.
I was being hyperbolic.
That's all I need.
That's all I need.
That's all I need. That's all I need.
All right.
All right. Now that we open, Dave.
Jesus.
As we always try to start the show, but we epically fail. What have you been playing?
I can tell you what I'm not playing. The iPhone 15 Pro with the controller. Yeah. I'm sorry. I had to.
Wait. If I buy the 15 Pro, if I buy, you know what?
No. You don't count because you're just going to do that to win the bet.
Why can't I?
No.
Why can't
No. You're just going to do that to win the bet. And you already said you're not going to get it.
I'm going to be out in the wild.
Buying it out of spite to win.
Yeah.
No. We don't count. We are excluded. Jesus. Come on.
I'll buy it for somebody else.
No. Because I'm going to know. I know. I'm
going to take a picture. You're going to be like, yo.
No.
That's your cousin. I know.
Yeah. Why'd you put Brian in the photo? Come on. Like I wouldn't know. Get out of here.
Yeah. Well, he likes fighting games. He'll play it any way he can.
Oh, my God. Well, they haven't announced any fighting games yet because you would have to have a controller to play those fighting games. I mean.
Do you?
I mean, you could do it on the touchscreen, but it'd be terrible.
I did it on the touchscreen on my iPad.
No. You did a mobile specific version of that game, and you even said it was second rate. Yeah. I've seen a lot of people play that mobile version.
Oh, I will say this. I will just to wrap it up. In the moment when I was playing it, I thought it was cool.
Yeah.
Because I hadn't played Mortal Kombat in a while.
I'm not poo-pooing the experience.
I was a casual gamer.
Right.
And I was like, oh, this is cool. I was like, oh, wow. And I kept winning. It was kind of tough. Obviously, they paid the difficulty down.
Yeah. And it's very simple. It swipes and mashes, button mashes. You tap the screen. I've seen a ton of people play that in the wild. Yeah.
Playing games now as a hardcore gamer, a hardcore-ish gamer, to go back to that would be a terrible experience. I couldn't do it now. But
That's
back
what
when I was a casual gamer, as a casual gamer, it was great. I thought it was great.
Right, but that was an experience made for the phone. Didn't need a controller, or whatever. It was meant for the swipes and the taps.
Well, it was made for again people like me who know the IP and who wasn't a hardcore gamer.
It was made for the mobile phone. It was that, and also made for the mobile. Like the control scheme was made for the mobile.
Yeah, but I couldn't play it now. Not after playing, Street Fighter more.
It's not enough. Yeah. It's a very kind of pared down version. But
Dave, tell me what you have been playing.
Not playing any of that. No. Still playing Final Fantasy 16. Still playing Gran Turismo 7. Both those games. Yeah.
Getting a lot of use from your PS5. Look at that. Dan has been saying ever since the first episode, I'm an Xbox fanboy. Yeah, I know. I do go on about Xbox sometimes. He's not wrong. You do.
But I love all the systems equally, all right? It's not one is better than the other. Obviously there's no Gran Turismo on Xbox. They do have Forza. Right, they have two flavors of Forza, the off-road variant and the on-track variant, which is the one that's comparable to Gran Turismo. Gran Turismo does do some things that are nicer. Forza does some things that are nicer. They have different tracks, like the last couple of Forza games, I think, got the guys from the car show. I can't think the guys that are doing the Grand Tour right now. They had that English car show for a while, and they're great. They got a beautiful voice. They know their stuff, and they narrate over everything. And like it's like a whole thing that got built into it. It's like you're getting an ESPN license, right? It's a whole big thing.
Yeah.
GT doesn't have that, but GT does have it has a little game world map that changes based on the different times of day. So the overworld map goes from night to day depending on the time of day you're playing, which is awesome. And they have a nice kind of story mode where you kind of go through and fill out these books. There's a cafe that you go to that's in the woods. It's all very considered. It's like if Apple tried to make a car game. This is the aesthetic they would probably end up going with. So it's different. It's different than what Forza has. And they have a different car selection and whatever else, and their tuning options are slightly different. It's cool, and I got a bunch of friends who play it. They have the VR setup. My one friend has the VR setup, and he has the whole racing harness kit. So he's got the wheel.
Yeah, you told me that.
He's got the pedals. Yep, he doesn't have the shifter. He uses the back of the thing, or I think on the front has the paddles, the shifter paddles. Which, some cars actually have paddle shifting. Some of the, rally cars and high-end cars will have paddle shifters as opposed to, a stick shift. But he's thinking about getting that. He's, all in on that. Now, yeah, I used it. It's a really cool rig. It's a whole big thing. I just play straight up regular with the controller. I don't have VR or anything. But it's a good experience. And Final Fantasy 16, I'm with you. Game of the Year potential. It's in there.
Told you.
It's in there.
Told you.
Oh, I had no doubt. Square always comes through with the high-end visuals and the whatever else. I'm still pretty early on. So I'm real early on, but I like what they've done so far. I like the world. I like the medieval, the high fantasy European motif. I like all the kind of drama and intrigue that's kind of going on, which is kind of cool. Yeah, I like it.
Got it.
So, okay. Mm-hmm. What have you been playing?
So, I beat Mortal Kombat 1, the story mode.
Ah, you've been once around. All right.
Yeah.
Curious what your thoughts are.
The game is great. I love the game. The cameos definitely they became a crutch somewhat, right? A little bit became a crutch.
Did you get the Switch or not the Switch, the PS5 or the Xbox version?
PS5.
Okay.
The PS5 version. But I like my fighters with the dual sense or dual shock, depending on what control. I like the dual controllers. I like the PlayStation controller for my fighting games.
Okay.
So I've been playing it. I beat it. I love the fighting. I love the mechanics. Again, I'm so happy that they sort of limited where when you do the cameos, they have a meter, so you really could just use them twice in a row and then you have to
Okay.
wait for it to refill before you use it again, right?
Oh,
And they
does
can
it
miss,
like
too.
does it autofill or does it fill when you like?
No, it autofills.
Okay, interesting.
And it can miss too. So you got to make sure when you use it, depending on who you're using as a cameo in their feature,
Right.
you got to make sure you're in close proximity or somewhat, right? So I usually use them to break up a combo.
Sure.
If the computer's doing a combo, I try to use it to break up the combo.
Will they always break a combo if you bring them in?
No, not
Oh,
always.
okay.
Not
Okay.
You got to do it at specific times. So
Okay. Interesting.
the story, mechanic wise, it's just like any other Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
It's great. The
What are
camera
the
feature
more
works
recent ones?
perfect. Yeah, I love where you could just pause, and again, I don't know if this is. I have to play the other Mortal Kombat games because I totally forgot
Mm-hmm.
the other Mortal Kombat games. But like as soon as you like pause the game, you see like these are your different moves for whatever character you're using,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I'm like, okay, that works. Obviously, in story mode, there is no fatality, so I didn't get a chance to practice that. Even though I did do a brutality.
Wait, there's no Oh, I guess because
in the story mode.
yeah, because it would kind of like because you kill somebody every time you do a fatality, and it's meant to.
It would negate that.
That is that's smart. That's really smart. Was this the first one that's done that? Is that?
No, I don't think they were in any of. I don't think they were. I don't think you can do fatalities in any of the. In
More
any of the
recent
other
ones?
story modes. Story modes. Remember, it's only story modes. that you have to worry
Right.
about.
I wonder how far that goes back. Wow, that's like ingenious. Cause like it was always like, oh, I just like killed this guy and now he's back again. It's like, wait a minute, how's that work? Like,
Well, you can. Well, you do stab him in the neck and in the back and stuff like that.
well,
during
when you do
fight.
the X-rays and the whatever else, that's true.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
you're like literally breaking their bones. Yeah. Wow.
I like the fact the story makes sense to me. I like the story.
Does it even with all the weird time travel-y and retcon-y stuff and all that?
Listen,
It works.
well, if you beat Mortal Kombat 11 and you beat Aftermath 2 because it was like separate storyline DLC, then it would make sense why everything was sort of retcon, right? I'm not going to get into spoilers, or you can
Sure.
watch the history of Mortal Kombat if you want to see how that works. But it definitely everything that was old was new, right? Like
right.
everything that was new was old, I should say.
Right.
So, everybody was there. Well, there was some few notable exceptions in the story. I guess you couldn't fit everybody in the story, but everybody
DLC,
was
Dan.
there.
It's DLC. They come back as DLC.
Everybody was there eventually, and again, now I don't want to spoil sort of towards the end, but you get to play as the story-wise. You get to play as certain characters in certain chapters, and there were 5 or 6 matches each, and then at the end, I like the fact at the end, when you have to do the big fight, you get to pick which character you want to play as.
Oh,
right? So,
interesting. Okay.
so they got that. They did leave room at the like a post-credit scene for the DLC story DLC or the next Mortal Kombat 2 or whatever they're gonna call it. The
I don't know
second
what they're
Mortal
going to call
Kombat
it next.
2. Yeah. So the story made sense. I kind of like the story. They have like the male and female version of like almost every character, right? Because it's different timelines, so it makes sense that they would have those skins, right?
So like the old school one and the new school one.
Well, you have the old school, new school, female version of that person, or male version of
like
that person, or the
female
mix of
Johnny
two characters.
Cage or a male Sonya?
Well, I don't want to. It's like I don't.
All right. No.
Well,
Say
I
no
don't
more.
wanna-
Say no more. I'm curious now. Like that's like really interesting. All right. Okay.
It's like I don't want to spoil it for you. I'm telling you these things, but these things you got to really see. And experience.
All right. Say no more. Say no more. Yeah. I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna have to pick it up.
The thing that I didn't understand, and I still don't understand, like invasions, is sort of like their you have a map. It's like you have a map, and then you're just you're in Johnny Cage's house, right? And it's like, okay, you can only go up here, or you can only make a left or a right, and whichever one you go to is you got to do that fight right there, right? So it's sort of like Tower, but sort of mapped out, and it's only one match, not a full like beat them twice, right? You got to beat them just one time. And then you get certain things. You get like an amulet, and you get power ups like RPG. You can power up and stuff, and you can change the fighters and change the cameo fighters as well. Any time.
And they put.
Go ahead.
Well, I say what you're going to say. I think you're going to say what I'm going to ask.
What I'm saying, you can buy power ups and stuff like that. Buy revivals because I think you only get like one life. You can buy revivals. And it costs money, but you need to win certain matches and stuff and find treasure chests. The issue that I find is, again, that all digital future, like 10 years from now, will invasions exist because it needs to ping to the servers. Like every time I went on invasions, it needs to ping to the server.
Really? Does it constantly change with new content or different? I don't understand why it would even need to go to the server. What information is it getting?
I don't know, but every time I went, because like I would do, like now that the story's beat, I'm not so intensely focused on it anymore, right? So I play it casually, and I would play it, then watch something on TV, watch football, right? And then 2 hours later go back to it, and I have that the same thing, Xbox, PlayStation, you can go right back to where you were.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. The quick resume. Yeah.
Quick resume. Right. No. Because it has to ping to the servers first, and then it takes me to where I was, and hopefully I saved.
Weird. I wonder what that's all about. Yeah. No, the thing that
invasions may not be there 5 years from now.
Well, the thing that I was gonna say about it is that like every mission or every fight has like different restrictions on it, right? You have to either accomplish a thing or you can't do throws or stuff like that, right? Isn't that like part of it? Or
I haven't gotten to. I mean, I only beat the first map and half of the second map, so I didn't go too crazy into it. There's 5 different maps, I believe, that's in there. There were missions, so not really missions, but it's like, all right, you go here, you have to beat this person. The first map is mostly beating everybody, but then it shows you, hey, when this person is shining white, your hits won't affect them.
Exactly.
Only when they shine blue.
Yeah, is when they have certain restrictions on the matches. Yeah. So it kind of like shifts it up a little bit. Yeah.
And then the thing that I thought would be cool that wasn't so easy was when they throw the fireballs at you and you gotta either jump, duck, right? Like this is not like precise platforming, so this is a fighter, so it wasn't meant. So I'm jumping into the fireballs. I'm like, oh, come on. So it's like there's like that hit detection is like so small. Like you really got to do precise jump.
Oh my God.
Right. Not to hit the fireball coming at you. And you got to duck you really got to duck at a certain time or it'll hit you in the back of the head. Right. And I barely made it out of, luckily the first map only had one of them. One of those sections, and I died like 3-4 times before I got it. Again, I'm sure it gets harder each.
I bet. Yeah.
Right, and again, it's an RPG, definitely RPG because like right now I'm like a level 3, right? So and I'm facing still level 1 and 2, and then there's some level 3s coming up that I'm gonna have to face. So and then they're gonna probably have some challenges where you probably your jump kicks probably don't work against this person.
Yep. Or you got to do at least a 3-hit combo or something like that.
Yeah, I'm probably not going to stick to invasions.
Okay.
But I just thought the first map was cool, and that was it.
Yeah. So
the game is awesome. Though.
If you had to give it a grade out of 10, what do you think? You put enough time into it. It seems like. What would you say?
Oh, it's a 9.
9 out of 10. All right.
Give it a 9 out of 10. It's great.
I'm gonna have to get it.
It's definitely in my Game of the Year discussion.
Wow. All right. We got some competition, baby. We got Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, among other games.
Yeah. When we get to Game of the Year talk, I'll tell you which one I like better, Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter.
All right. Save it, baby. Save it. It's going to be a surprise.
I've been playing that. Been playing WrestleQuest. I bought it.
Off the top
I had to buy
it. You had to do it, Dan. You
didn't get a review copy, so I said, "Screw this!" I bought it. I got it on the PS5. I will talk about this game. I think we can announce it. We're gonna do something special.
We're gonna do a special Saturday morning retro, right? Because this game is a retro throwback, right? It's a love letter to old school RPGs. We do something special. The next Saturday morning retro is gonna be all about WrestleQuest.
Yeah, it would be essentially our review of the game, right? So
yeah.
That we did say we would do.
Yeah.
So, I also been playing Fort Salis. or I was playing Fort Salis.
Oh, are you not? You're not so crazy on it?
It's not. You know what? It's not. I want to be fair to it. It's not a game that. It's not that I'm not crazy about it, but you are in solitude a lot, right? And it's a lot of detective work in spooky space, not spaceship. You're in space.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of listening to videos and talking over the walkie, but there's no real dialogue. There's no action, at least in the beginning of the game where I am. So it's something I really have to be in the mood to play, if that makes sense. I'm just not.
No, I feel you. I feel you.
You know, I'm more into action. You know, I've been playing like Mortal Kombat, and it's just. I can't. It's not a game. You can't go from Mortal Kombat to Fort Salis, right?
No. It's a completely different tone shift.
It's a bad transition.
It's, you're amped up on you're amped up on coffee and steroids, and then you're like, no, just gonna lay down and have some tea and nestle in with a book. It's like completely different. I get it. I get it.
So it's not bad, and it is a game that I would be interested in.
It's a different vibe.
I'm not in that mood for that game right now. I will save it for later.
Hey, well, October's right around the corner, baby. Spooky, scary season.
That's true. That's true. And also been playing Immortals Avium.
Which the only man who's playing that game.
There you go. I'm not the only person to play.
Everyone's dogging it. You know,
everyone's not dogging it. People are giving it, saying it's great. It just doesn't. It doesn't have that visual effect that people are looking for, that realistic visual effect, but they knock it for that, but then they had the same breath they say they understand because it is like an EA's original from a small studio.
It's not triple A. No, it's a smaller studio. Correct. Yeah, I get it.
And it has that same issue. It has the same issue that I essentially had with Starfield, to where, you know, the cursor's just on the screen and I got to point my hand to the cursor, right, to shoot. It doesn't have like legit aiming.
Can't aim down the barrel of your wizard staff, correct. Right? Yeah. So that's one and it has precise shooting in this too in certain levels. Like I'm stuck at a boss where the boss has different colors all around him, and you have to bust those colors with the right, but he's throwing everything at you, so you're running, ducking, you're trying to shoot under his arm, you know, you're trying to shoot on his shoulder, like specific places, but I can't hit that precise shots because I can't really, it's not like I'm aiming, I can't really aim, so I'm kind of stuck here because he's throwing everything in the kitchen sink at me, and you only have one health pack with you. You can't carry more than one, which I think is a disservice. There's no upgrade. There's no health upgrades. You can't get like extra health.
At least I didn't find it. I'm halfway through the game, and you can only carry one health cap at a time.
Wow. Okay.
You can't carry like 3 or 4, because if you could, then I would have beat him already. I was like this close, and I had like that much. I had this much energy too, and I was this close from beating him. And it's just, if I had a little bit more health, I could have beat him. So. I like the game. I don't know if I love the game. I really like the game. But I don't know if I love the game because of they give me a section where I need precise aiming, but don't give me the tools to do precise aiming. So
yeah, I hear what you're saying, right? It's like you got this World War II sniper shooter, but you can't aim down the sights. It's like can't do the thing you're asking me to do. Yeah, I feel you.
All right, well, we take a break. When we come back, we get into the top gaming news of the last 2 weeks. And we're back. All right, Dave. Take 2. For the second part.
Take 2, baby.
Because we had some technical issues.
Well, it happens.
And we got to discuss half the stuff we already talked about again and act surprised.
You talk about a third of the stuff. Come on now. We were just about through the Xbox stuff.
All right.
And you know what? You know what? This is the most exciting stuff, so I don't mind rehashing my opinions on this. So I think we're
so
okay.
for the second time, let's get into the top gaming news of the last 2 weeks. We have the Triforce. I made a whole thing about the Triforce the first time.
I know. It's the red, the green, and the blue. It's all coming together.
We got the top stories for Xbox, Nintendo, and Sony. So
yes,
let's talk about it again. It comes from the...
Take it from the top, Dan.
Xbox had the biggest leak in industry history that happened with the court filings with the FTC. And it was actually Microsoft's fault. They filed paperwork that were unredacted. People got to see plans that they had 3 years ago for, sort of now into the future.
Oh, right? This is with the whole Activision Blizzard court case thing, right?
Correct.
They kind of slipped in some documents that they weren't supposed to. So big oops. Yeah, big oops.
And nobody to blame but themselves on this. But I will say,
because how is the court going to know, right? How is the court going to know?
Well, why does the court even care, technically, right?
But, true, yeah. These are documents in an open court case. Yeah.
But Phil Spencer did say, hey, don't get too excited because, plans do change. And we have a lot of things that we want to do that never actually get to fruition. And some of these have like the marketing speak on it. And I know from experience that you always sort of internally experiment with these things and say, how does this sound? How does this work?
Yeah.
How does it, does this work? Should we change it? Because you're critiquing yourself because you have rough drafts of things.
Even if the stuff was coming out, like guaranteed coming out, it's still going to change. Guaranteed. Yeah. It's
so let's start with the biggest news out of the leak was we got the big Xbox console Series X refresh.
Mm-hmm.
Got to look at
generation refresh. Yeah.
Phil Spencer did say that this generation will not get a pro version. It won't get a mid-gen upgrade. But we know we're probably going to get that from Sony because all the rumors are about that. But for Xbox, they have been on a record saying they're not going to do that. But doesn't mean they're not going to get a slimmer version of the console. And that's what this is. And people aren't mentioning that this is kind of slimmer. This version, this all-digital Xbox Series X refresh, it's more like a cylinder. It looks like an old Mac.
It's very much. I was going to mention it. Definitely is the Mac Pro. It's the old trash can Mac Pro. Which
it's more of a cylinder with the grate at the top with the same way as the Series X.
It looks fine. It certainly looks fine. It's a little more sleek.
Code name Brooklyn with an I, right?
Yeah, I don't know why. I think they're just trying to be cute there. Just call it Brooklyn with a Y.
Well, you know why? Because it's adorable, as the tagline says, the most adorable, most powerful Xbox and adorable all-digital console ever, right? So it's double the internal storage with 2 terabytes, lower power usage, and a stronger Wi-Fi 6E connectivity.
Right, which all of that on paper sounds great, but I want to mention the thing that you said at the top, the all-digital, which means there's no physical disk drive in there. So that extra 2 terabytes of storage is now crucial, right? So it makes it a little bit less appealing now because it's not like you're getting a disk drive and you're getting an additional 2 terabytes of storage. They're taking some stuff out in there, right? And the reason you do the refresh, one of the only reasons, the most paramount, the zenith, the top of your list on priorities when putting out a refresh console is to save money. That's what you do. Now, they're giving you extra storage, which makes sense because storage in terms of the price per megabyte or terabyte or gigabyte or whatever it is always going down because they find better ways to do it. The manufacturing gets cheaper. So, like a 2 terabyte storage back in 2020, very different than 2023. Prices come down a lot, sometimes 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, maybe even hundreds of dollars, depending on the type of device it is or the type of storage it is. So they're definitely making their money. I wish there was a disk drive in there.
I know, but it's going to be the same price, $499. It's not going down in price.
Even better, Dan. So what am I getting?
They're saving money on manufacturing, but we're still paying the same price.
That's unprecedented. I don't think you can point to any console that has had like a refresh. The PS2, the Super Nintendo Junior, The freaking Atari had a refresh and a price drop and the whatever. The Genesis, the PlayStation, every damn console has at least one, if not two, three, or four refreshes where they come down in price a little bit, right? Unless it's like a Pro model, right? The Xbox Pro, the Xbox One Pro, and the PS4 Pro obviously were more expensive because they're a little bit more powerful.
Well, with the new console comes a new controller as well. They got a new controller. It doesn't. I want to say it looks slightly thinner than the controller that we see now, with a wider bottom part to it, like in between the handles, with the grip material that's on the Elite controller. That's on like all the way on the bottom, and I would assume that it would go all the way up in the back of it, and just that face plate will be over sort of the buttons, the stick, and the D-pad.
Yeah, so it's got the cool two-tone look. I like the way it looks. I like the extra grip stuff. I like that they're pulling down some features from the Elite model and putting that into the regular controller. This I'm excited about. I mean, I think the console is coming out, guaranteed the refresh in some way, shape, or form. And I think this thing is coming out. I will buy the controller.
You buy the controller.
I won't buy the console. No, not until it goes on sale for $5.
All right, so let's talk about games. So this was sort of an Xbox / Bethesda leak, because this is sort of Bethesda's sort of roadmap for games that they wanted to put out the next 4 or 5 years. Some of these things didn't come to fruition. Like Indiana Jones game was slated for fiscal year 2022. Obviously, we know that didn't happen.
I think that was COVID was the big thing holding that back. Yeah.
There was a vaguely named licensed IP game that we don't know anything about, and then there was a Project Platinum that I think was Hi-Fi Rush, because there was something in here that didn't fit the bill for anything else but Hi-Fi Rush, which is from Bethesda, that did come out earlier this year.
Yeah, from Tango Gameworks, and it just stealth dropped in the middle of February, right, when they had that direct. It's out today. You can play it on Games Pass. I mean, it's great.
Yeah.
Probably, I bet that's what that was.
We got an Oblivion remaster that originally was set for fiscal year 2022. That didn't happen. That would be great if it comes out next year. We're not talking about a remake. We're talking about a remaster. So that's something that they're probably holding close to the vest right now.
Sure. And it's that would be good, because Skyrim is over 11 years old at this point, and who knows when the Elder Scrolls 6 is going to be coming out. People need their high fantasy Bethesda game.
By the way, Elder Scrolls 6. Xbox exclusive. That was confirmed in some of these.
Oh, well, that I would 100% see, considering Starfield, Bethesda's previous game that just came out, is also exclusive. Yeah, that would make sense.
So we got Doom Year Zero, and that was supposed to come out fiscal year 2023, and DLC that was supposed to come out in 2024.
So this would have been a new Doom game?
That would have been a new Doom game, but I would assume, because of the ending of Doom Eternal, which sort of ended the whole thing, that this would have been sort of a prequel to the first game. So still a third game in the series, but a prequel.
Yeah,
so Doom Eternal, Doom Eternal would be Doom 3 in storyline, but this would be the third game in the series.
Right.
With DLC coming out next year. So I can imagine, and this is, me talking, because when did Microsoft buy Bethesda? 2021, right? 2020? Something along those lines?
I would say 2020, 2019,
yeah.
2020. Yeah.
2020. Microsoft said, hey, look, we're going to keep these things close because we want to spread these out. I wouldn't be surprised if the next Doom game would come out next year, right? Maybe the holiday season, and this would be at E3 or E3-ish time for Xbox, to be an Xbox exclusive with DLC to come out in 2025.
Yep.
With Oblivion remaster, because these are all things that will be Xbox exclusives.
Of course.
Right? So these are things that they want to put out. Then we got Fallout 3 remastered that was supposed to come out fiscal year 2024. That still can, but I think may get pushed back because of the games I just said that may come out next year instead.
Yeah. Right? I'd rather them do New Vegas, but 3 is the better choice than 4 for a remaster. And that's a game that's 15 years old, 100% prime for a remaster. Yeah.
And then we got a sequel to Ghostwire Tokyo. that was supposed to come out fiscal year 2024. I believe this is something that could also get pushed back to 2025, depending on what Microsoft and other internal studios may have set for next year, because Microsoft's going to want to spread these exclusives, because these will be exclusives, no doubt about it. They're going to want to spread these out. And lastly, that we got people really excited is a Dishonored 3 was slated for a fiscal year 2024, right? I know we had Redfall, which was awful, and they vowed to make better. They vowed to make better, which I do believe. But you have Dishonored 3, that's something that people want. Hopefully not in the vein of Redfall.
No, we want a good AAA Dishonored sequel. Yeah. And it's been a while for Dishonored too, I don't know, 2017, 2018 when the last one came out.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. This is all.
And by the way, as a side note, Bethesda they may be owned by Microsoft, but they operate differently, separately from the main Microsoft from other studios.
Right.
And the only thing that I would say that Microsoft will sort of, and we saw Redfall because they had no hand in Redfall, which is probably
that's part of the reason why it did so bad. Yeah, they were all focused on Starfield.
Yeah, that Microsoft is like, Microsoft may come in obviously with monetary support, technical support, and in return probably just ask, let's spread these out because these are exclusives, so we need to make sure that Elder Scrolls or Dishonored 3 or whatever new IP, Indiana Jones, doesn't come out at the same time as Halo comes out, right? It doesn't compete with Halo because they're both going to be exclusive. Doesn't come out with Gears of War because those are going to be
exactly. Put one in the spring, one in the fall, one in 2024, one in 2025. Spread it out. All of this stuff is not surprising. I mean, Oblivion remaster, no duh. Fallout remaster, no duh. If they're not working on it, I can guarantee it comes up in talks all the damn time. Like, why would you not?
They're working on it.
They're like beloved. Yeah, I mean, I none of this stuff is surprising. None of this stuff is Fusion Frenzy 3 level territory. It's not like this wacky predictions.
The only difference is they're just striking down that Switch logo and striking down that PlayStation logo from the side. That's the only thing that's the difference. They're working on it. Trust and believe.
Okay.
Also, and I think we discussed this during when Phil Spencer had to testify at the hearings. They internally, Xbox or Microsoft, they're looking at 2028 as the target date for Gen 10 for the next generation.
Wow,
of consoles.
Gen 10. Jesus,
right?
That's so wild to say.
So looking at an 8-year cycle for this generation, mainly because I think remember these things got leaked from 2020, and I want to say it was before the zombie apocalypse really happened. I believe I could be wrong about that, but even if it was during the zombie apocalypse early on, nobody could predict what happened as far as the shutdown and the complete shutdown of the world.
So you think no matter what, they were like, we want to do.
They were eyeing. Plans change.
Oh,
remember,
for
plans
sure.
Change again. So, but I think they were sort of eyeing 2028 anyway as sort of like the next gen, where the next gen console is going to come out for an 8-year dev cycle.
8 years is a lot. Like 5 to 6 years is the average lifespan of a console generation. Not to say that
Nintendo.
Well, I mean, Nintendo does what Nintendo does, but
and the original Xbox only had 4
because it was terrible.
It was great, Dave. But we're not gonna get into that. Okay.
Well, I mean, if it was so great, why did they have to rush out first to market with their next console?
It still is great. It still is great. It's top 3 most underrated consoles of all time. But we're not gonna get into that.
That's fine. That's fine. I can still get the whole entire library for less than a month's rent in Brooklyn.
That
all right.
That is not true. That's
There's
not true.
there's like 2 games
Maybe
that
a
are worth
month,
anything.
maybe
Everything else is like $2.
That is not true at all.
It is.
Futurama, Outrun, Zombies Ape. No. We're not
Yeah,
going to get into it.
it's not Zombies Ape. My neighbor Stubbs the zombie. Yeah, there's like
There we
5
go.
games.
It's a zombie game.
There's like 5
it's
games.
more than 5 games. More than 5 games. But we're not getting into it. It's a ton of
easy to
exclusives.
complete. Easy to complete. There is
Not easy to complete. No, don't guys. Collectors, don't listen to Dave. Don't listen to Dave.
It's easy.
He has no idea what he's talking about when he comes to this. So no.
Would you say it's easier than the PlayStation to collect for? The PlayStation 2, the original Nintendo, the Super Nintendo, the Dreamcast, the Saturn? Yes. All of those.
Easier than Saturn. Easier than the Saturn. It's easier than Saturn.
You're saying it's not as easy as the original Nintendo? Get out of here. It is.
No, it's
Super
not.
Nintendo?
No, it's
yeah.
not.
It's easier to collect.
No.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't realize Xbox had a little Samsung level or a Stadium Events level price.
Outrun 2 is actually one of the. It is
not more than $1,000. No.
It doesn't matter.
It's a couple really hundred expensive. Maybe at best.
It's still really expensive.
Okay, but it's not as expensive as little Samsung, which is like a couple $1,000s. That's the point. That means it's hard to collect for.
Nintendo has more games than the original Xbox,
which makes the Xbox easier to collect for. That's what I'm saying.
It was only out for 4 years. I mean, it was only really supported by Xbox.
None of that matters. I'm just saying.
It does matter. If it was out for 8 years, I guarantee you the games that came out in 2007 or 2008 that
would lend credibility to it being a good console if it lasted that long. You're saying everything to augment my argument. You're bolstering my argument.
Well, if that's it was out just as long as the Dreamcast. Is the Dreamcast a terrible console? No.
Dreamcast had some problems and it failed. Oh yeah, it was a major failure.
No. Sega had problems. Dreamcast wasn't a major failure. That is a different argument. Okay, we're getting off topic now.
The controller wasn't great. The controller wasn't the best. Didn't have a lot of Western support for it. EA made 0 games for the damn console.
They didn't make any sports game. EA didn't make any of the sports games.
No,
we're getting into a different topic. Now we're looking at some. We're going to talk about this on Saturday Morning Retro. I guarantee you that.
Oh boy!
But
I mean, we can get into it then, but
2028. Next gen.
That's wild.
I hope it's true. From my pockets, I hope that's true.
Well, I mean, you have to think that COVID had something to play into this. Maybe not. Maybe what you're saying is true. It all depends on when the documents and when their talks happened, right? If they have their thing, all right, here's our projection for this console. Here's what we think it's going to last for. Obviously, they're doing work behind the scenes on the next console for sure and R&D and whatever, but
this refresh gives you an insight of what they want to do going forward, and they want to have an all-digital future in the next console, right?
So I think
they want to wait till it's an actual set thing. 2028 is an actual good date to have it to be all digital. Now, I will say this. If they don't have an external disk drive in it, I'm probably not going to be an early adopter. It's
for
just
the
not
next
going to work
console.
for me.
Or
for the next console. It's probably not going to work for me.
Not even the refresh. Well, you may not be buying consoles anymore, Dan.
But it would to me, unless the games are in a service, I'm not going to buy them. Like I'm probably not going to buy Immortals of Avium digitally like right away. Like I'm going to wait till that's like a Steam sale for $10 till I get it, and that's going to be 2-3 years later.
You think you're going to be able to if there was like a Starfield level game or a Breath of the Wild style game?
No. I'm saying I would get those games. But it's the smaller games that would suffer because I wouldn't buy them.
Oh yeah, you're not going to
have them in my collection.
You wouldn't get a $70 game that gets a 4. No, of course not. No.
Was that even a 4? The first
6. I'm not saying that game is a 4. I'm just saying.
Okay, all right, yeah.
I'm saying if there's a AAA game that fails, if it's a Redfall, if it's a whatever, you're like, nah, I'm good.
I'm not even Redfall. I'm talking about more like the mid-tier level. Like I think Immortals of Avium is like a mid-tier game.
All right, if it's 6s or 7s, you're like, nah, I'm gonna get the 9s and 10s.
Fort Silas, I probably would wait on that, right? Because I know that's sort of like a point and click sort of like adventure. Like there's no real combat.
No. I get you. Like having it. It sounds.
It would need to be in this. It would need to be in the service,
right?
For me to play it early. early on.
It may sound dumb to the non-collectors, but there's something about getting the game and opening it up and getting a manual inside and just having like the physical material is kind of cool and putting it up on your shelf. There's something about it, you know. Not everybody cares about it, obviously. A lot of people that are into the all digital thing, but yeah, I feel.
And I think that's where that's where Microsoft is going to suffer a little bit. Personally, I mean, I don't want. And no. Hear me out. There was no talk of an external disk drive, right? And that could just be the document that didn't get leaked.
Maybe,
right?
maybe they have
maybe they do have a disk drive, and this will negate everything I'm saying right now, right? Because I will get that. Everything we've heard from Sony is that they do want to have an all digital console with an external disk drive an optional external disk drive that you can buy or not buy if you wouldn't buy physical, right? And
because
Nintendo,
that's basically a stopgap until they're ready to go all digital. That's all that is. Yeah.
And Nintendo has said nothing about going all digital. We've heard nothing about going digital. I mean, the rumors are the next Switch 2 is either going to be a disc like the PSP or still using cartridges like the Switch now, right?
Those are your two options. Yeah.
So let's just say the next Nintendo console definitely has some type of it uses a cart.
Well, they're going to be the first ones out of the gate, right? By all the rumors, next year or early 2025, there's your new Nintendo console.
There's your new Nintendo console, and let's say Sony has a new console with an external, hard drive that you can buy, right? Or a disk drive that you could an optical drive. There we go, that you can buy, which we would buy 100%. We wouldn't buy that console by itself. We would buy it with the external.
Buy it with the disk drive. Yeah, of course.
Correct. Right. If Microsoft doesn't have that, I think that hurts them, because Sony and Nintendo both have that, but Microsoft doesn't. I think that would hurt them in the long run.
But you know that. Okay, I don't want to go and rehash the special edition thing, but there's millions of people that are all digital. They don't care about the physical disc. I don't think it would hurt them that much. I'm not trying to rehash the other thing, but I'm just saying, based on those metrics, I don't think anyone's really gonna. The collectors will care. The collectors will care.
Listen, 100%. They want the watch. They want the statue. They don't want the game. They don't have room for the game.
Okay,
You're right.
Who cares about the physical disc drive? It's only me and you, the collectors. And you know what?
We go.
And you know what?
Here we go.
And you know what?
It would hurt them with the minority group of collectors like us.
I want this too, but they already have my money. I already bought a Series X. You already have a Series X. It's not like we waited for the console. We were early adopters, And there's not a lot to entice. But when the price goes
with the all digital console coming out, I'm not going to be as gung ho to go buy it.
Well, you're going to get it eventually. When it goes down to like 300 or 250, right there. I'm going to be right there. I'm going to get it. Yes, you know what I'm saying? You got to wait for that price drop.
I'm not saying I won't get it. I'm saying I will get it. The thing that's going to hurt really is going to be the mid-tier to indie games that I'm not going to buy. Either I'm not going to buy it on the Xbox because I don't have a physical edition, or I'm not going to, or I'm going to wait till it's on Games Pass, or it's going to be super cheap.
They already got you on the Games Pass at the $15 to $18 a month or whatever it costs right now. So they got you.
That's what it would need for me to play it.
I mean, it's definitely going to have the the Games Pass integration and all that, 100%. They got you there. They're good. They want that to be the thing. They want you to be on Games Pass. That's it. They get your money every month. Making money hand over fist right now. I don't know if that's going to be sustainable. We all know when the companies get way too big and their services get way too big, things start to fall apart. But for now, that's like their game plan. I think they're like full.
And guess what? We're going to be even older, and then it's going to come full circle where they're going to say, hey, this is going to be the first console in the last
have a
console generation to have a disc drive or or for cartridge or whatever. Yeah. And in collecting this stuff right here is going to be vintage, and the kids are going to be like, oh my God, I want these. I got these at a garage sale. My grandpa had it. Just like records.
Exactly. And Polaroid cameras, right? It's why they're still making them, right? Right? People want the nostalgia. Yep.
All right, Dave.
Mm-hmm.
Let's switch gears.
Oh boy, I'm gonna have to like muster up all my energy like freaking Goku summoning the Spirit Bomb, because the news gets progressively less and less exciting.
Oh, come on. It's the Nintendo Direct.
The Nintendo Direct was pretty good.
Great.
Nintendo Direct was pretty good.
Great. I thought it was great. All right.
Pretty good.
So we're not going to talk about everything in there. For this, it's the second time I pulled out some standouts from both that and the State of Play. But let's stick with the Nintendo Direct. We got the Princess Peach. By the way, I will pull it full circle with the all digital feature with Nintendo. You got Princess Peach Showtime, which is, we did see the Princess.
Showtime.
We did see.
Sorry, I'm just thinking about on the subway. It's showtime. What time is it? It's showtime.
Well, that's what Sting from WCW, and WWE.
Oh,
and TNA, and now AEW. He's Showtime. So it's my only wrestling reference this episode.
There you go.
So,
you have to get at least one in. Contractually obligated.
So they showed it off during E3 time, right? Mm-hmm. But it's officially going to be called Princess Peach Showtime, and it gets a March release date, so it's going to be releasing early 2024. Yeah. By the way, they did say no physical edition on this. This is a digital game.
All digital future, baby. See, there you go.
Even Nintendo's dipping its toe. Nintendo's dipping its toe.
You know what? That's like, I didn't realize it was digital only. That's a bit of a slap in the face. Why do you think they're doing that? They always put out physical.
I know. I don't know why. Well, I got this, by the way. I got this from an IGN podcast that they said that they confirmed that this would be a digital game. So if this does come out to be physical, which I hope it
could be misinformation possibly. Well, let's just say that
I got it from IGN.
Let's just go ahead and say that's true. Is it possibly because there's a female lead? And they're like, this game isn't going to sell that much. It's going to be like a AA or a single A game. It's not going to be a AAA game.
No. Well, first, I'm going to play both sides of the fence. I'm going to play, let's say, because it is Princess Peach game, and the first one didn't sell as well on the 3DS or DS. No,
it was on the DS, yeah.
Yes, yeah, it didn't sell that well, so that could play a factor too. But I don't think.
Well, I think that plays into it too, is that it's a female lead, and people were like, kind of like put off by it. They wanted the Mario game and not the Princess Peach game because it was apparently very good.
Well, the first one played on her emotions. So
yeah, I mean,
typical female. I mean, I thought it was a great game personally. I didn't really care. I didn't even equate the emotion thing with it being Princess Peach. Right. I just thought it was like a cool thing, like of her emotions.
Right. Yeah, it was an interesting mechanic.
I don't think that plays a role.
I don't know.
I don't think that plays a role into. I mean, remember they're more of a Japanese company, and they're I don't think.
Maybe not. Maybe it's not.
I don't feel that plays a role into it. Mm-hmm. I do. And here's one of the reasons why is the next story is Mario vs. Donkey Kong remake. Mm-hmm. It's coming to the Switch February 16th, 2024. This is also supposed to be a digital only game.
Oh,
and I think it's because these are early. I think these are because all the rumors that the Switch is sort of ending next year, like putting it out the pasture. They're gonna announce the Switch 2 or the next Nintendo console, I should say. These could be the last hurrah, and they just want to save that plastic for the next console, maybe.
I feel you. Okay, that
I
also
hope I'm
makes
wrong.
sense.
By the way, I hope I'm wrong. I hope all these games get physical editions.
Oh, of course, because I am hyped for both of these games. I love the Mario vs. Donkey Kong series. I didn't play the Princess Peach game. I think I own it. I haven't played it yet. May do that.
I tried to play it for Saturday. I tried to play it for Saturday Morning Retro, and I got stuck somewhere and I ended up playing another game. But I always wanted to go back to it.
Yeah,
I would have to play it again over and over.
Yeah,
I would have to play it from the beginning. So.
Right. But I mean, they both look really cool. The Mario vs. Donkey Kong series goes all the way back to Donkey Kong 94, which I did for Saturday morning. I think it was the first game I did for Saturday Morning Retro, or one of the first games. It's Mario versus Donkey Kong puzzle style game. All right, you got to complete all these little like puzzles or whatever, either by getting these little creatures around or finding the key and getting to the exit. And then you have these big showdowns with Donkey Kong, which are kind of action-y, puzzle-y stuff. It's great. It's amazing. And the Princess Peach Showtime game is a little like Super Mario RPG a little bit?
I thought it.
Well, like the Paper Mario. Sorry, Paper Mario stuff.
Yeah, it could be more like Paper Mario slash. I thought it had that showtime because she's going to a theater, so everything is being like actors like on a theater. So it gave me that Super Mario 2. Super Mario 2 because you're on a stage, right? Everything was like a stage.
Oh yeah, 2 had that too.
It was a dream, and then 3 was more of a stage, right? Like a stage play.
Yep.
So it gave me vibes of that.
For sure, yeah.
Right, like if Super Mario Brothers 3, the greatest game that in your opinion,
greatest game, baby. Come on now,
was more like N60, was more like an N64. Mario and 64, right? Because it's a 3D game that's like a stage play. That it gave me vibes of that.
Yeah.
So we got that. We got Luigi's Mansion 2 HD. That's coming out next summer.
Dark Moon, is that right?
Correct. Correct. But instead of calling it Dark Moon, they call it Luigi's Mansion 2 HD.
Sure.
We got great F-Zero 99 was announced. Dave said F-Zero, the Nintendo doesn't want to do anything with F-Zero. He's wrong. They want to make it into a 99 game, and I want to tell you from experience. It is virtually impossible to get number 1 in F-Zero 99. Impossible.
Oh, you played it? I haven't actually played it yet because it dropped that day.
I actually played it. I played it 3 times. It was impossible. Maybe you can get top 10. Maybe. It's just impossible to get number 1.
So this is in the vein of Mario 35 or Tetris 99, where there's a bunch of people playing. This is everybody on the F-Zero track. They're modified slightly, I think, the tracks to accommodate all these racers on there. It's very much like the Super Nintendo original. They have new tracks in there, which is kind of cool.
You can play on Nintendo Online, by the way. The original game is on it.
Sure. This is... I'm not going to say this is not awesome. This is awesome. This is not what I was talking about with the new F-Zero. Because this is going to be a limited time. It's only going to last for so long, and then...
they didn't specifically say it's going to be a limited time, but we know all the 99 stuff is a sort of a limited time offer, but I think Pac-Man 99 is still up on there.
No, Pac-Man shut down. There is no multiplayer anymore. I don't even think there's single player anymore. I think it's fully shut down now. Mario 35 was a limited time for the 35th anniversary. Tetris is still up and running, I think, but that's run by the Tetris company. That's not a Nintendo thing. It's just on Nintendo servers.
They do pay them because it is on their online offerings. So. Oh
well, sure, sure. I guess they do pay them to have it, but I mean, like the server costs and everything else is handled by the Tetris company.
It's awesome. You got to get those little pellets because you got to keep doing the twist to get those little pellets, so you can get the track that's above everybody else to go straight down. You got to strategically use that too.
That's right. They have a special elevated portion you can like level up to, which is kind of neat. I have to. I'm gonna have to download it and play it after the show. It's super cool. It doesn't hurt to have this. It's cool. It's great. I still don't think we're gonna get a new F-Zero.
I do eventually. I don't believe now. Maybe
anything is possible eventually. Under a long enough timeline, everything is possible. That's not a fair assessment. Within the next 5 years.
I hope we get the year of Luigi in the next 20 years. Eventually, we'll get the year of Luigi.
That was Nintendo's lowest performing year. You know that, right?
I do. Well, it was their lowest performing, one of their lowest performing consoles. if they had the year Luigi on the Switch or the year Luigi on the Wii, it would have did much better.
Of course, but I don't know. I just kind of thought it was interesting.
All right, and we got one. I don't know who asked for this. Tomb Raider 1, 2, and 3 remastered was announced, and this is not.
Are you not excited for this?
I mean, it's cool. The first 3 games, which are hard to get into, they're hard to go back to. I mean, they were great in the moment. They are the equivalent of GoldenEye. It's cool. They were great in mind.
They do not hold up well
in the beginning. No. They don't hold up well.
Yeah, it was
terrible.
It was groundbreaking for the time. Female protagonist, strong female lead, right? It was the female Indiana Jones.
I could tell you my uncle, who wasn't a gamer, but he wasn't a hardcore. He wouldn't. I mean, rest in peace. He's deceased for 23 years. He wouldn't say or classify himself, at least back then. I don't know what he would have done now if he was still alive, but back then he wouldn't classify himself as a gamer. Okay. Or gamer back then, would be a hardcore gamer now. Right. But he'll tell you he loves some Tomb Raider. He loves some Tomb Raider. He loved two things.
It was a
X-Men
classic.
and Tomb Raider. He hated Batman because he was like, well, he said X-Men. I'll never forget this. He told me X-Men, yeah, they're mutants. They do crazy things because they're mutating. Batman, we're talking about the animated series.
Okay. Well, I know
he's shooting a grappling hook where? Where is he shooting a grappling hook? What the hell is he shooting a grappling hook?
Has he not looked up?
Spider-Man.
Has he not looked up and saw
Spider-Man?
the
I know, but I'm just telling you what
he's
not Spider-Man. Like Spider-Man can go web sling. He's go grappling hook. That can't happen.
Wow, he put the reverse Uno card on them. He's like, because everyone says Batman's the best because he's got no superpowers, but he acts like a superhero, and he's like, nah, he's mid because he doesn't have any mutant powers.
Yeah, he's
wild.
He can't have no grappling hook, like, because anybody can do it. These guys are mutants.
Well, how come nobody else is doing it? Like, name me another superhero who doesn't have superpowers besides Tony Stark. He's got money.
Robin.
He's got money.
Robin. All the different. I'm just saying.
No, nobody cares about Robin or
Green
Nightwing.
Hornet.
Come on.
I mean, the Green Arrow doesn't have any superpowers. He could.
Okay.
He could shoot arrows. They're different arrows.
Okay.
Hawkeye in the comics is a mutant.
Okay.
But Hawkeye now, in
the MCU
modern day
and
Avengers, he's not a mutant. He's just very skilled. But Hawkeye had like super, whatever.
Superhuman vision or something, yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, Green Arrow is the Hawkeye of the DC universe.
But who cares about Green Arrow? But all right. You give me some examples, but sure.
He was another rich guy that came up that had a grappling hook. So his point was that's not. I can suspend my belief when it comes to a mutant because you want me to believe in something that is impossible and not real because they're mutants so they can do these things. He's just a guy. And what gadget you mean to tell me he didn't fall because the thing didn't grip on correctly? Right? He's just a guy.
Batman, he's just a guy. Oh
yeah. That's what he said.
That may have to be the name of the episode.
Batman, he's just a guy.
That is the greatest review of arguably the greatest superhero of all time. But he would not be considered a superhero because he's not super. He's just average. He's got a lot of money and a lot of gadgets.
No. He's just a guy.
He's just a guy. Yeah, he's just a guy.
Yeah. You can't ask me to suspend my belief with somebody who's just a guy.
Okay.
Like I can suspend my belief with their mutants and they're gonna go, like they turn to monsters.
Right. You can get into that fantasy world. Yeah.
That's a fantasy. You're telling me this guy is real in reality, and he can just grapple a hook. he can grab to this building, and he doesn't fall. It doesn't like not grip on, and he slips and dies. Like, come on. So he doesn't have a parachute in that. Like, come on. So those are the two things I always remember from him. I mean, he was an uncle by marriage. He wasn't a blood uncle, but I still loved him to death. He was the cool uncle. And I always remember those two conversations in high school with him. He's like, Batman is whack, X-Men all the way. And he loved himself some Tomb Raider. He loved Tomb Raider.
There you go.
It was like his game. Like I remember the PlayStation, OG PlayStation, sitting in the living room, and he had all the Tomb Raider games.
Yep.
So if he was alive today,
he'd be happy over the moon about this.
This would be for him. Would be for him.
Aren't you like you were like I don't know who this was for? Isn't it's for us, for everybody who grew up in it that wants to go back and have the nostalgia, but it's like, ooh, it's too hard. They have this nice refresh. They put a new coat of paint on it. They got better controls, updated visuals.
Control better? Wait. They have updated visuals. Is it confirmed it has better controls?
I think so. I would assume it would.
it would need better controls for me. I'll buy it, but will I play it? I don't know.
I would hope so. Now, I know that you can flip between the old school and the new school graphics, just like the old Halo remastered games and a lot of other ones where you can just kind of like flip on the fly, which I think is awesome. So the updated control scheme would have to be available to both. If they want to go like all out, maybe they have a toggle for new school control and old school control, which would be awesome. You can kind of remember how the game was and how far they've come.
Dave, no toggle. Nobody wants
they're
to
probably not going to have a toggle, but it would be nice.
There's no toggle for GoldenEye because nobody wants to remember how it was to play GoldenEye.
They have different control options. There are concessions. You can make it a little more like the original, a little bit.
So
I don't know. Somebody's got to be out there.
I'll be honest.
You're not about it.
For other than collectors, I wasn't excited when I said this was cool, but for me, it wasn't excited.
Well, I don't think they're doing a physical for this, right?
I think they are doing a physical.
Oh,
because this is not a Switch exclusive. This is going all consoles.
Oh yeah, of course,
going on everything.
Wow. Okay.
I would hope they do it in a physical. Mm-hmm. So it's something that we're not going to get a physical for, which we probably would. They probably do a Mario Kart Deluxe DX, whatever you want to call it. They have everything on the cart. That would be great. We get the final wave 6 of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Booster Course Pass, with new characters, new courses. So that's finally going to be a thing.
I thought Wave 5 was the end. I'm like, we got one more wave.
No, wave 6.
Let's go.
We got Wave 6. Got Wave 6 coming. And then something that was totally left field is the Nintendo Gallery Museum is on track to be completed in March 2024, which is an actual physical museum of one of their old offices.
Mm-hmm. Got to make a trip down to, I think they're in the Kyoto region. You got to make a trip down there sometime and see it when it opens.
They had like a shot of like a question block on top of the roof, and then they sort of panned out, and it was like, oh yeah, this is our old building. We're making this to a museum. I was like, wow, okay.
I'm surprised they haven't put one together yet. Like, that would be the most amazing thing. Because Nintendo goes all the way back to the 1890s. Right?
I just want to know one thing. 2, can I get one of these authentic Yakuza deck cards that you had back in the day? And can I get a Nintendo World Championship? Because I know you got thousands that weren't used in storage.
All right. No. The rumor is that they have a bunch that weren't used. I don't know how many they actually have. They have at least one. At least one or two, guaranteed. And they will be in a glass case. So
they got thousands.
I can guarantee you at least you can have the one that's in the glass case. You just gotta get it out of the glass case. But it's all yours, Dan.
I gotta call Lara Croft.
There you go.
With the tank controls to come steal it.
You just come walking up. Sir, are you okay? No, I'm good. I'm just, I got it. Don't worry. I'm good.
No, you gotta turn your whole body.
Yeah.
Turn your whole body.
You gotta turn at 45-degree angles, very sharp angles.
All right. I thought the Nintendo Direct was good. I wasn't expecting anything
good, not great. Yeah, it was.
I wasn't expecting anything like groundbreaking. Right? Just going to tell us what's coming up for the rest of the year and what's coming up in the beginning of next year.
I would have been very surprised if they had anything like groundbreaking, because I think we're on that. I think we're on the same train. New console announcement next year, so they're kind of winding down.
I just want to correct IGN because they had mentioned that, this time, 2016, 2017, they announced the new console. They announced the Switch, which is incorrect.
It was the beginning of January, right? Or the end of December?
They announced that there will be an announcement in the beginning of next year, which was the end of January, where they announced the NX would be the Switch, and that came out in March.
Which is wild.
They did not announce it in the fall or this time. In 20, I guess it would be 20. It came out in 2016 or 2017.
Came out in 2017. So the fall of 2016, they were teasing.
They did not announce it.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. That's right.
All right. So let's get into what was the lesser of the hype of all the news in last 2 weeks.
It was a snooze fest.
It wasn't that bad. We're not going to get to everything, but let's get into the Sony state of play, the fall state of play, right? It did have lesser announcements, but there was some good stuff in here, and I pulled 5 things.
There were two. All right, two of these were good. Well, three of them, I guess. Yeah.
All right, so we got Final Fantasy. We got actual release date for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. It's coming out February 29th of next year. That's great. So we starting the year off with a bang, baby. Starting the year off with a bang.
I was watching. I forget who. Maybe Digital Foundry or maybe the Iron Lords. I forget. I was watching some YouTube show. Could have been Spawn Wave. They said that the overworld, for which there is in this game, the next part of it, you're going to be out in the overworld and you'll be able to explore. It's a 1-to-1 scale, and what I mean by that is like typically like a town will be like a little thing that like looks about that big on the map, and then you go into it and then it's a whole thing. And that was just a limitation of what it is. Everything's going to be the actual size of what it should be. So towns will be regular towns, and it'll be like a thing you can enter on the overworld, which is amazing because they have some really cool stuff coming up that is going to be in here, like the Golden Saucer and Cosmo Canyon. And just just so many amazing things. All the weapons.
We know who's hyped for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which is remake part 2.
That's right.
Which I hate the fact that they don't say that because we know it's going to be in 3 parts officially. So
yeah, it's remake. Well, remake Intergrade.
Well, they have remake part 1. Yeah. Well, I'm saying they have remake part 1. Intergrade was sort of like DLC for that.
Yeah, it's a little side story. Yeah.
So this should be like Rebirth remake part 2. So they should say that. It makes sense because you have a part 1 with where's the other part? Like say you're a new collector 15 years from now, right? And you're like, well,
it's probably going to say part 2 in the 10. I bet it is. Yeah.
I hope so. So. I'm super excited. This got me hyped right now. Spider-Man 2's new gameplay trailer and highlighting many spider suits you can nab out in the game. I'm now more hyped for this game. You get switched between both Spider-Mans
on the fly,
on the fly,
which is awesome.
Right? There will be certain missions where you have to use a specific Spider-Man.
Right.
It makes
plot point, story-wise, or whatever. Yeah.
They did show an overlay of the map, and they're not using all of Brooklyn and all of Queens. They're using the north part of Queens and the south part of Brooklyn.
Yeah, I mean they're huge boroughs. Yeah. But it's still cool that they're there, and you get to like.
It's still cool.
Yeah, you could fast travel around. That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
AI is better as far as with the bad guys, but just for the random robberies that are happening around, the AI would be better. I am more hyped for this game now than I was before. This usually when they give another trailer, I'm
You're like, all right, it's enough.
It's enough. But this actually the previous trailers were a little ambiguous with some of the mechanics and gameplay. It was more of teasing who's going to be in the game than how you're going to be playing the game. Right. Where this was more of how you're going to be playing the game, and we're going to take you through a mission, and this is how you're going to do it. That I was like more hyped for, like the in-depth, like this is how you can play, and this is the sort of the mechanic with the wheel, with all the different settings that you have, the different outfits that you can use and get. So I am now more hyped for this than before.
Yeah, man. It's
I already have the controller. I bought the special edition controller. You can't see it. It's right behind me. I don't know if you can see it.
No, kind of. Yeah, no, there it is. Yeah.
Sense. I did buy it.
Strong game of the year potential. I don't want to say one way or the other just yet, but the potential is high. Yeah.
Potential is super high. Then we got Resident Evil 4 Remakes PlayStation VR 2 mode that's coming this winter. Well, release window.
This is cool. This is the third piece that I'm like, okay, and then after this I went to bed.
So they're putting, it makes sense because we got that PlayStation VR 2, which I do want, and I think I will buy for myself for Christmas around the Christmas time. I will buy it. I didn't tell you. I didn't get a chance to tell you. I did play. I do have a friend who bought the PSVR 2. I did get a chance to get some gameplay in with Horizon.
Okay.
much better.
Yeah, it's insanely better.
Much better. Still not there yet, though. It's not there yet, though, because I still think having the being tethered is an issue.
Oh well,
but,
I mean,
but it's the setup is way better.
Oh yeah, single wire.
The immersiveness is way better than the original. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I gotta buy it. I do gotta buy it. I just no physical games. Not a lot of physical. You can get physical games. I did see Metal Jesus talk about the physical games that he does have, but there aren't all the major games aren't physical. Right?
A lot of it's digital. Games. Yeah, even on the OG PSVR, there was a lot of digital.
I know, and the best game for PSVR, the original one, is Moss 2, which didn't get a physical.
Oh, yeah? 1. Yeah, first one did, though. Yeah, part 2 didn't.
Yeah. Then we got PS5's Deep Earth Collection. They have faceplates and DualSense colors that, I like the silver one. The silver one looked cool.
I love the idea. I think it's cool.
Oh, the blue? The deep blue one, that was cool too.
I'm glad Sony is putting these out. Don't get me wrong, but it's not gonna get me out of bed. It's not gonna get you out of bed. No.
But what should get you out of bed is Ghostbusters: Rise of the Ghost Lord. That's out next month for PSVR 2. This was made for PSVR. For VR in general.
Oh, sure.
You have the Proton Pack and you're Ghostbuster. This was awesome. It looks cool. And this, honestly, between me actually getting the hands-on with it, with a friend, playing the PSVR 2, knowing I want to get Horizon, even though it's only digital, and Ghostbusters: Rise of the Ghost Lord, which is probably going to be only digital too. Yeah. Those are the games that got me hyped for, like, okay, maybe I need to invest in this, because that's something I always wanted to be a Ghostbuster. That was, as a kid, it was two things, because this was my era: Ninja Turtle or Ghostbuster. I wanted to be one of those two things.
Oh shit!
All right, I had a fake Proton Pack because I had a. You had to. In those days, you had to use your imagination. That's right. I had a real ghost trap and a fake Proton Pack that I made myself. And I had a dog that always looked at the Proton Pack. I mean, that always looked at the trap and was just like, "What is this?" And I always act like I was like busting him as a ghost. So I want to be a real Ghostbuster. So this would be cool. I can't wait to play this.
It is definitely cool. It's not AAA caliber, but it still does look cool.
It looks better than the Iron Man game, which sucked, by the way.
That game was like 10 years ago. Jesus.
It still sucked. The Batman game was great, but that was more of like an experience.
The Batman,
it was just like you being Batman in the cave.
This could be like really cool. I'm just saying it doesn't look like it has the AAA visuals, the AAA package.
Correct.
For it.
It doesn't, but I'm excited for it.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
First step 100%. Into being a Ghostbuster, you can improve upon it with the second game.
I think it's probably going to do well if they nail all the basics of it. I think it'll probably do pretty well as a PSVR 2 experience.
It'll do even better if they put out a physical.
I mean,
all right.
Well, they'll definitely get 2 copies.
All right, Dave. You got any cool weekend plans coming on?
Oh, my God. Yes, I do want to play. I was going to play Final Fantasy 99. Damn, I do want to play F-Zero 99. I sadly have a lot of work to do this weekend, so it's going to be light on video gaming. But I'm going to enjoy it for what it is. I'm going to watch some football on Sunday. Giants already had their loss, so I don't have to worry about that. I can watch my games in peace. It's all good.
Yeah, come on, the Jets are going to lose.
And
the Buffalo may win. Come on, New York, baby, all the way. New York,
I mean, it's nice when one of the home turf teams
Actually,
win.
I thought about buying an Aaron Rodgers jersey, which is if you know me, that's a double negative. Because one, I hate green unless it's money, and two, I hate Aaron Rodgers. Well, at least I hated Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay because I was a Brett Favre fan, and now I hate both of them.
I got no qualms against Brett Favre. Brett Favre came to the
personally.
Brett Favre also came to the Jets, right?
He did.
Yeah.
Personally,
at the end of his career, he's just like Aaron Rodgers.
I'm just saying, the things that he, listen, you hold some people personally responsible for some of the things they do off the field or the court and the diamond. I'm holding Brett Favre accountable for what
I may be forgetting the scandals that Brett Favre had under his belt. Maybe I need to reevaluate my.
Yeah, I'm not a big Brett Favre fan right now.
Okay, I think I'm starting to remember some of the things that went down. I definitely don't like Aaron Rodgers for those reasons. I don't care that he was successful with Green Bay and he's a real good quarterback and whatnot. It's perfectly fine.
Well, I was gonna say I could flip the jersey in 10 years because it's hard to get a Brett Favre jersey now for a good price.
You think they're going for a high price? Wow, all right.
Yeah, I could probably flip it next. I mean, he said he wants to play. He's not going to retire, and I think he owes the Jets at least a.
Well, he already got hurt. He already got injured in week 1.
Well, I mean, 4 minutes in, I know.
Oh, there was I just have to say this, and then we can go ahead and be out. But I saw somebody did like a YouTube short or a TikTok or something like that, and it was like Aaron Rodgers week 1, and it was a shot of one of the Royal Rumbles. And it's just this little short dude running down into the ring, and he immediately gets 360 tossed out of the ring as soon as he came in. I'm like, yep.
I thought he was gonna say Titus O'Neil when he ran to the ring and just fell under the ring.
No, but that's funny too. No, he actually made it over.
Week 1.
No, he made it over, and then I think he got I don't know, John Cena or Triple H just nope, you're out of here.
I hate the fact that in the real Royal Rumble they recreated that where he tripped and fell into the ring, but you could tell that was all staged compared to when he actually ran to the ring and tripped and slid under the one that was actually hilarious.
Jesus, don't they have tables and chairs and all sorts of paraphernalia down there?
They actually have a person under the ring.
Do they?
They do. They have a person with a monitor under the ring because the job of that person is to make sure when people go for a chair or a Kindle stick, whatever the spot is.
Oh, they end up just pull it out for him, yeah.
And he hands it to them essentially.
Right.
That's why that's why they always looking.
Yeah.
They never just pull the thing up.
Right, because you would see whoever's down there.
You would see him and he has a monitor because he's watching.
Right. He's waiting for the guy to come over
yeah. So he's like, where is the guy kind of? Okay, he's going to be over here, so I'm going to make sure that I have the chair.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's
by the way,
that's interesting. Yeah.
By the way, there's a way to get to that state. He doesn't have to leave under the ring, so he can climb the ladder down. There's a way to get under.
I would hope there's some sort of trapdoor. Yeah.
Yes. So technically, if he needed to be relieved for whatever reason, he has to go to the bathroom or whatever. He could tag in. Right. And have somebody climb it, yeah. So,
it's good.
At least
that's everything.
I don't know if that's in every arena. Don't quote me on that. My second wrestling reference for the show.
I'm assuming most references have trapdoors like that. Most arenas have that. Yeah. But
okay.
Yeah.
Well, we're done.
Yeah, that's episode 387, 378. I can't even tell. 378 in the books, folks. And we want to thank you guys for listening to the show, for liking, commenting, doing all the good stuff that you guys do. If you want to interact with us, and we know that you do, you can find us on Facebook, X, Instagram, YouTube, and Threads at Rated G for Gamers. So please listen, rate, review, and subscribe. And as always,
keep gaming.